Alright, good day everyone. Welcome to another session of an tutorial. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how to write a good research, how to choose a good research topic, and how to start chapter 1. Alright, if you are a final year student and you're currently writing your project or you're about to embark on one, you are going to need this video. Alright, so we have to outline, just like I've listed the other time. I have here how to choose a good research topic and also how to start your chapter 1. Alright, so before we proceed, actually let me tell you how important and compulsory you have to ace your project, because I believe many final year students do not really understand what they are even doing or what a project or research is all about. Alright, so a research, or let us say a project, now the project you are actually working on, a research is actually an academic work, introduced by the educational sector, carried out by students. It is usually to be carried out by students in order to test if they can actually identify a problem, solve a problem, or investigate an issue in order to actually contribute to an existing knowledge in a particular field, and so on. So that is just like the summary of what a research or a project is all about. And also, it is also like a good approach to know if a student can actually apply all what they've been learning from year one, from your 100 level, what they have actually been learning, they can apply it to the real world, the practical world, and use it to solve a real world problem. So that is what research is all about. And again, let me remind you, because usually I believe this course usually carries 6 units, so we call it a 6-unit course, and that shows how important you must work with this course. You must actually pass this course. All right, so let us get down to work. So the outline 1 is how to choose a good research topic. All right, so how do you choose a good research topic? I listed some characteristics here. So that means a good research topic must be, number 1, relevant to your course. What I mean by being relevant to your course is that a research topic must be related to your course. Let's say, for example, you are studying economics or you are an accounting student. Now, this is actually the list of what you should be worried about, because I believe your supervisor is also going to look at your topic before approval. So they are going to see if it's actually related to your course. But on your own behalf, before you take your your topic to meet your supervisor, these are the things you have to consider. Now, number 1, if you're an economics student, you can start by looking at the areas you can bring your topic on, depending on what interests you, your area of interest. Let's say, for example, as an economics student, you have the many fields in economics: the macroeconomics, the microeconomics, the monetary economics, the labor economics, development economics, wherever you want to pick your topic from. So let us just use the indicators, the macroeconomics indicator. Let's say, for example, you have what we call the inflation. We have inflation. We have the topic might be on unemployment, etc. And if you're an accounting student, your topic can be on financial reporting. Financial reporting can be on taxation and so on, auditing, etc. So if you want to pick your course, if you want to pick a topic, you can let it be have this one of these components or anything you just feel like. So if you are picking, let's say, for example, inflation, then we go to the next one. Before you now pick a topic, or after you've actually selected the area of interest in your course where you want to pick your topic, another thing you must consider now is that your topic must be researchable. Now, a research topic might be relevant to your course, that is related to your course, but might not be researchable. What do I mean by that? For a course to be researchable, that means it is testable. It can be analyzed. You can bring out research hypotheses from those topics, and you can actually make empirical analysis on that topic for you to conclude your answer. And how do you know all this? Now, let us say, for example, you are picking inflation, or you have interest in inflation. Maybe around where you stay in your country, there's a lot of inflation problems, and you feel like you want to work on that topic. Now, if you are working on that topic, let us say, for example, a topic on inflation, which is why inflation is bad. Why inflation is bad. This is not a research topic. This is not a good research topic, because though it is, now, like I said, it might be relevant to your course, might be related to your course, but might not be researchable. Now, this topic is related to your course. Let us say, for example, you're an economics student. It is related to your course. Or let me use for an accountant, for accounting students. You can say why taxation is not efficient. Now, this feels more like an opinion. It will actually lead to an argument, but it is not a researchable topic. And these are the clue or what I'm going to give you to know if a topic is researchable or not. Now, for every topic, you have to have variables that you must point out. You have the independent variable, and we have the dependent variable. Now, in this case, in this topic, we only have the independent variable. Inflation is an independent variable that has to what? To describe or explains another variable, which should be the dependent variable. Another point is this topic do not have a time frame, a duration, or let us say the country. This topic is actually the country we are working this topic on. So this makes this topic that makes that topic a very bad research topic, because it doesn't have a dependent variable, and it doesn't have a time frame. It doesn't have a country whereby which we are working that project on, where that project is going to be tested and all of that. So that makes that topic a bad research topic. Rather, instead of saying this, what is now the right way to put this? We all know that inflation is a problem to the country or an economy. So we can say, how many things we can use? We can have the effect, impact, relationship, analysis, etc. So we can say impact of inflation on the growth, economic growth of Nigeria, or in Nigeria, from 2000 to 2024 or 2025. We can say the relationship between inflation and economic growth in Nigeria from 2010 to 2025. Another thing you should take note when considering the time frame, the time period. Actually, I would consider that if you are using a primary data, it depends the type of data you are going to be using. So I should be explaining that under data availability. So before that, just make sure that the time period, depending on the type of data you want to use, maybe second data or primary data, I'm going to explain that. So now we can say impact of inflation, relationship between the analysis of inflation on economic growth, like that. So in that case, you are going to have your independent variable. Inflation is independent variable, and your dependent variable will be what you are trying to get. You are trying to check the outcome on. That is, economic growth is a dependent variable. If it is on referism of the economy, it is a dependent variable, depending on what you are actually working on. So you can have more than one independent variable in a question. You can have two independent variables. I don't know if you can have three. Actually, I've not seen one that has three, but I've seen one that has two. In fact, in my own final year project, I used two independent variables and one dependent variable. And another thing is this: it is not only these two variables that can exist in your project or in a project. We have other variables that might later on be included in order to make your answers, or let me say your results, perfect. We call those ones controlled variables. Controlled variables are variables that are related to your course. They are also variables that can affect the dependent variable. Inflation is not the only thing that affects economic growth, you know that. So you know that there are other variables or factors, indicators that can also affect economic growth. So those factors might be actually brought in the journey of your project. So we call them controlled variable, but it is going to be controlled. And there's a lot of explanation on that as well. And I believe we just need to understand this part: independent variable and dependent variable. And when we get to where you're going to be using your control variable, that part will also be explained better. All right. So on the data availability, after getting your topic, either you're saying impact of inflation, economic growth in Nigeria from 2000 to 2000 and so. All right, so after you've actually picked your topic, selected your topic, and you see that it is researchable, there's another thing to consider. Depending on the variables and the country you are working it on. Now, in some countries, some advanced countries, inflation is never a problem. They don't experience inflation anymore. So also, for example, the economy of the United States of America, it is not a problem. You can say in some developing countries or emerging countries, they might be experiencing inflation, or let me say unemployment. But in some advanced countries, they don't have any problem. They don't really have high rate of unemployment. So if you are working on such topic and the country you want to work on is an advanced country, the data might not be really available. So let me just put it in conclusion that after you pick your topic, the next thing you should do is to go to where you can collect data online. If you are using secondary data, you can get your data from World Bank, Bulletin, NBS, the National Bureau of Statistics, Bulletin, the Central Bank of whatever, depending on the variable. So you are going to search online to see if there are data available, and that's not the only thing you are going to look at. You are going to look at from the year you want to work on to the time frame. If it is from 2000 2024, you are going to check if there are data available for that time frame. So that would actually determine if you are going to proceed with that topic or you are going to drop it and pick another one. So you must make sure that topic have data. There's data availability for that topic. It is very important. There are a lot of students that have made that common mistake that they don't check this, and later when they get to chapter 4 where they are going to be using their data, they find out that there is no enough data, or they don't have data. The topic don't have, the variable do not have data in that country, and so therefore they have to drop that topic. Imagine the stress of coming back to change your topic and rewriting your project all over again. All right, so to avoid that mistake, check if there is data, if there is data availability for your topic. And so the last one here is your topic must be supervisor friendly. What do I mean by this? A little bit of advice. Try to make a little bit of research on your supervisor before, or on, we are going to give you're already going to have selected lecturers that are going to be your supervisor. You can make a little bit of research for those of you that already have a topic in mind, that you already have a topic. So you should try and look at, or make, like I said, the reason you're making the research is that look for a lecturer that their course, what they study, is related to that your topic. Some students, some lecturers, or let me say some supervisors let me say for an economics lecturer now, their field of study might be on maybe monetary economics. Anything about monetary economics. I mean, some is international economics, some is under macroeconomics and econometrics, like that, calculation. So they don't really know of, let me say, labor economics. So if your topic is on a particular field that is very distinct or not really related to the study of that, to the field of that your supervisor, there might be a problem. Why? It might actually make your project slower, because and again, because he's not friendly with that topic, there is little to which he can contribute to that project. Area of mistakes or correction, and it might actually take time before he gives you he approves your project and gives you a go ahead. So please make that research and make sure that your topic is supervisor friendly. If your topic already tick all these 4 components, characteristics, then you can proceed to writing your chapter 1. So you must first of all make sure that your topic is relevant to your course, is related to your course. Another one is that your topic is researchable. And how do you know if it is researchable? It depends on how you frame it and make sure that it is researchable. Another way of framing it is that you can just say inflation and unemployment on the economic performance in so country from 2020 to 20, depending. Now, what I'm trying to say the other time about the time frame is that if you are using secondary data, you should make sure that time frame is up to like 20 years, at least 20 years. Make sure it is up to 20 years. You can, depending on your supervisor, can be 10 years, but make sure it is up to 20 years. And again, before you make a topic, another thing I need to note out is that how do you know if your topic has been carried out before or it has never been carried out? Or let us say, for example, the area of your interest, that topic, that inflation has been yes, there's no doubt. There are a lot of articles, journals on inflation, yes, that have been carried out. But then you can actually make another topic out of an old project. What will actually serve as what will actually give you the permission to go ahead is how you draft or frame the research topic. Let's say, for example, there's an old research topic on inflation, impact of inflation on economic growth in Nigeria, and you want to work on inflation. Now, you can still work on inflation depending on, let us say, for example, the old project, the duration, the time period is from 1990 to 2010. So there is a research gap now. Now we are in 2026. If there is already data for 2025, you can now say your whole impact of inflation on economic growth in Nigeria from 2010 or from 2000 to 2025. There is 10 years gap difference in that research. So that means your let me say, for example, your results, your concluding results, findings will be different because now the time period is different. Another thing is this that you can use to work on an existing old project that will give you permission to go ahead. Is that what? Let's say, for example, say impact of inflation on economic growth, still the same thing. Now you want to work on the time frame, the same time frame, but then that topic has been carried out before. Now you can now introduce another independent variable. Sure, understand? Like now we cannot say impact of inflation and unemployment on economic growth in Nigeria. So you are not only working on inflation, you are actually looking at the mixed relationship between. So you cannot say relationship between inflation and unemployment in Nigeria. And again, be careful on how you use these words because it will depend the type of approach, the methodology you are going to use. Mostly if you use relationship, one of your method might require you to use NALD, non-linear autoregressive distributed lab. We call it asymmetric effect, looking at the asymmetric relationship between one variable and the other. So you can actually consult your supervisor on the word to use. If you are using analysis, they are going to tell you what you must include in that project for you to use this. So all these things has their own function too in that your project. So be careful as well. So relevant to your course, researchable, data availability, and lastly, make sure it is what supervisor friendly. All right. So, but if you are using a primary data, your scope of study might be within a state, and maybe might not be a state, might be an area, a local government, depending on where you know that there is much data or where you can fetch your data from. All right. So that is where we are going to be stopping under the first outline, which is how to choose a good research topic. And I believe if you should follow this accurately, you are going to have a good research topic. All right. So if that video have actually helped you in one way or the other, please kindly like, share to others, and also subscribe to our channel. And also you can drop a comment. If you have any question, you can drop it in the comment section, so that in the next video where I'm going to be explaining how to write and start your chapter 1, I can also address that your question. All right, so this is going to be the end of the video. Thank you very much. Please do not forget to share to others, subscribe, so as to get notified whenever we drop a video. Thank you.